I'm going to tell you which cities have the highest and lowest property taxes in Ontario, and you might be surprised. Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you had a great week. Thank you for tuning in. I want to talk a little bit about property taxes because certainly in the city of Toronto, it's all the talk since we had our election for the new mayor. So I thought it might be a good opportunity to talk about right now, as we stand here today, what the lowest and what the highest property taxes are in Ontario. And I think some of these are surprising. So the very lowest property taxes in all of Ontario right now are actually in Markham. And I think that was a surprise to me because I was always under the impression York Region was a little bit higher than the average, but Markham is actually lower. And guess what's second? It's Toronto. People talk about how expensive the taxes in Toronto are, but they're actually really not. The one thing that gets us, of course, is the land transfer tax. So our property taxes are low, but you pay a lot when you buy property here for land transfer tax. And the third is actually Richmond Hill. So these are the very lowest in Toronto. Now, which cities are the highest? Number one is Orangeville. That's also a bit of a surprise to me. Number two is Oshawa. Not a surprise. I would have thought that would have been actually the highest, but it's second highest. And to be honest with you, there's barely a difference between the two. And then number three is Barrie. Now, it does make sense that all three of these cities, maybe not Oshawa as much, but the other two are still really in development and they're growing. So it makes sense that their property taxes are high. But really you should be looking at established cities and going, okay, those should be low because we don't have to build as much infrastructure and different things like that as we do with the newer places. So this should make a difference to you when you are considering where you want to buy property, especially if it's for an investment, because the difference between property taxes in a place like Oshawa compared to a place like Toronto, or even somewhere like Windsor or Hamilton where they're very, very low, can make a huge difference. So I'll give you an example. A property in somewhere like Ajax or Pickering that is worth about $800,000, you could be paying $4,000, $5,000 in property tax. In Windsor, there's certain areas where that same type of property, the property tax would only be about maybe $1,100, $1,200 a year. So it makes a big difference. Anyway, I hope that's been somewhat helpful. I'm happy to share with you what my thoughts are on different areas to buy, especially if you're looking at investment. Feel free to reach out. And in the meantime, have a great day and we will see you next week. Don't forget to follow our podcast as well, the Toronto Real Estate Show with Jenelle and Leslie. Bye for now.